Welcome back and thanks for joining me again. Today I'm in the worm area, but I'm doing a video on how I harvest in the Vermi Bag Mini. This is my second time harvesting the Mini, and if you want to see the video from the first time I harvested, just click in the link in the upper right hand corner. But harvesting from the Vermi Bag Mini is actually kind of tough if you don't have your Vermi Bag Mini raised, because you do have to unzip the bottom and pull it out. This time when I was collecting the castings from the Mini, my castings were really wet. They were wetter than they were the very first time around. And I know this was because I had issues with moisture over the summer with the bag. I wasn't expecting the castings to be as wet as they were, but it did make it a little hard to get them out. What you have to do when harvesting the Mini is kind of push the castings through the opening at the bottom, but you don't want to push it so hard that all of the castings fall. You just want the stuff that's towards the bottom. You really don't want to get too many worms, and you don't want to get too much material that hasn't had the opportunity to break down. Even though the shape is a conical shape, you just want to be careful as to how much you take out. So I didn't take out too much, and I also wanted what was at the bottom to dry out a little bit more. So I took out what I was comfortable with and then zipped the bag back up and then took a look at the castings. Once I've closed up the bag, I go through the castings to try to see if I have a lot of worms in the castings, if I had a lot of material. And I found this one worm in there, but I really didn't see a lot of worms. So I'm not going to do the bait tray at all in terms of trying to get the worms out, because I didn't see any. But I am going to just sift it. But feeling the consistency, it was super wet. It's not going to go through any of the sifters that I use. So I'm just going to let this sit for a week. I'm going to cover it with cardboard instead of bubble wrap, because I don't want to keep the moisture in. I do want the moisture to evaporate, but I also don't want any flying gnats or anything to get in there. So I'm just going to spread this out to try to maximize its ability to dry, and then set it aside for about a week. Hello and welcome back to another Vermi Extra episode. I've got the castings that I harvested a couple days ago from the Vermi Bag Mini, and I'm drying them out. And I'm just checking them right now for their consistency. I've covered them with cardboard to help with the drying out process, but to also try to keep any bugs or anything out of it. And as I sift through the material, it is still clumpy, moist, and it's not a consistency that would actually go through the grater for sifting. So I'm gonna let this sit for another week. There's one worm that I found right here and here, but as I sift through it with my hands, I don't see many worms. I see a lot of pot worms, which is to be expected as the material is pretty wet, but I don't see a lot of worms, so I'm not concerned that something's gonna happen with the worm population. For this one, I'm not gonna do the bait trays because I don't see a lot of red wigglers in the contents that are here.
This guy? Okay, that guy's alive. So I'm just gonna put a worm friend I found over here in a bin. I'm gonna cover this up again for another couple of days and then check on it to see if it's ready for sifting. So it's been a couple weeks and I've had the castings from my regular Vermi totes drying out and going through what is called the starvation mode or foraging mode. So I'm removing the covering now and I'm gonna dump the contents into the harvest tray. They've dried out quite a bit. And there's a lot of material. It's not like what I would normally or how I would normally harvest because I put a lot of cardboard in here. I've got a lot of particles that can just be sifted out. Now I choose to do these extra steps. You could just do the bait trays right in the bins. We've got a lot of worms towards the bottom of this bin. But I'm just gonna gently move all the contents out of here and into my harvest tray. Now for this one, I'm gonna do exactly the same thing that I did for my other bins. I create a little bed for the harvest tray. And I learned this trick from Tom, who makes the Vermi bags, from his video. You don't want to have the worms have to travel a far distance to get to the food. So you push up the castings so that the worms don't have too far to go. You don't spread it all out through the whole bin. So I'm gonna grab a bait tray and come back. Now I created these bait trays previously. They're just takeout containers, which I had a soldering gun, which I bought for like $10 off of Amazon, and just put holes all around. I didn't put any holes at the bottom to force them to come in through the side. And I just set the tray right in here. And I have some apples and squash set off here that I'm gonna put into the tray. Put it right on top. Of course, what I'm gonna try this time, instead of using the castings on top, I'm just gonna cover it with some moistened cardboard to try to cut down on how much of the castings I remove when I take the worms out. And then I'm just gonna bring the castings up here. Just like so. Bubble wrap back on top so it doesn't dry out. And that's it for the first tote. And the process is going to be exactly the same for the second tote. These castings definitely have dried out since I haven't fed them for 2 weeks. So they look really good to harvest now. So I'm just gonna get the material all in here. And again, gently do this so as not to hurt any of of worms. And just like the other bin, there's a lot of material in these castings because I recently have put a bunch of cardboard in to try to So once the harvest bins are put away, now I restart the totes. And this is the mixture I made last week. Just try to spread it equally between the bins. Really nothing special to restart the bins. Spread out the material. Now the material is still pretty damp from when I started it. My preference is not to put any food. I don't put any food in it until after I've harvested the worms, because the worms come over from the bait trays with food in it, and I just don't like food sitting in my trays. But I will put some grit at the top. And then these will sit with their lids on until next week when I start to put the worms back in them. But that's basically how I restart my trays. And I hope you've enjoyed this content. Thanks for watching.